This is Tacos Live with Jay and Jeff. Boys, how are ya?
Awesome. What's up, Brandon?
Crushing it, man. Just back from vacation. I'm nice and rested. I'm ready for some tacos and some.
You ready for some tacos and some good time? We have 3 times the fun on all of these live channels. I'm like a little kid in the taco shop having a good day. Jeff, what's going on?
Well, I'm very excited about the show. It's very spicy. We're going to have a true fiesta here because we have an amazing special guest, Ryan Moore, who we've just gotten to know through the years personally. I have so much respect and how he's changed my mind about responsible sourcing and eco and the importance of all those things. So we're just bringing it. The bar is being raised for Tacos Live here on Promo Corner in all these different places people can watch.
Well, let's get Ryan to say hi or something. Otherwise, people
let's get Ryan in here.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
He's there. It's the man, the myth, the legend.
Tacos. Breakfast tacos today.
Yeah,
nice.
So you're in Washington.
It is always kind of breakfast tacos for you guys because you're closer. You're out on the West Coast, and I know a lot of people on the East Coast are like, "Hey, it's time for tacos." So that's why this show is so great live. Speaking of live, I'm gonna jump off, let you guys get going. I will be monitoring all the comments on Facebook, so if you want to ask these boys any questions, please go ahead and type them in the comments there on either Promo Corner's Facebook page or Promo Show's Facebook page. If you are watching it live on promoshow.com because you're at the open house, head on over to the Facebook page and comment on there so that we can make sure we get your question up there. But boys, I will see you at the end for some tacos up, okay?
Thank you, kind
sir.
Right.
Beautiful.
Right on. Well, Ryan, it's a pleasure to have you here. We love connecting. You were one of our original guests with Tacos with Jay and Jeff. And so this morning, let's see if we can give you another intro. First of all, most people will probably know that you are indeed the CEO of Ryanette. You are one of the founders, if not the founder, I would say, of All Made Apparel. And you've got this other little side project called Rock USA. So in your spare time when you're not eating tacos, Ryan, what are you doing?
I am working out and playing music.
Those are great things. Plus, I always see you on Instagram with your family. You look like you've had some good trips in the last little few months.
Yeah, we were very lucky before COVID hit to get an RV or a trailer, a pull-behind trailer. So we've taken that out with the boys. I have 3 boys, which also involves working out and playing music because when you have 3 boys, you've got to keep them active. And so it's a good time. It's been a very interesting year. You know, I think we talked, when was the first tacos?
It was in May when we first had you on.
Was it May already? Yeah, it seems like it was just yesterday.
I know.
So that's almost 6 months away there. And then it's been crazy because being a trade show guy, right? That your life is so different this year than it was pretty much every year before that, once you start speaking and doing the trade show circuit, you're gone so much and you miss so much. And now it's just like home life is, took a little bit to adapt, but it's cool. It is cool. So
I hope that we can, I'm glad you brought that up, by the way, because I think that that's part of the reset. I called it the Great Reset of 2020, whatever we call it. I think a lot of people are trying to adapt, trying to figure it out, we've heard all the words of shift and pivot and reinvent and reimagine. The truth is that that's real, that those that are fighters and those that are entrepreneurs and those that are, going to claw their way forward are just going to do it, even if they have to make it up as they go. You've always been a go-getter by times 10, times 100. So what we want to do is we want to profile some of the cool things that you're doing. And I challenged you because I wanted you to talk to us about a brand that you respect other than your own, because I knew you would bring up All Made or Ryanette or Rock, which are all awesome. And so I'm going to share my screen now. And don't forget, we've got this other guy named Jeff, and he's from time to time will chime in. Right, Jeff?
Jeff, I like your glasses, by the way.
Ryan, thank you so much for mentioning that, because I thought these glasses were way, way edgy for somebody like me. but my wife and some other people go, no, you're doing this video, you got to be edgy. Look, you know Ryan Moore, you hang with all these cool people. So thanks for noticing that.
The shout out actually is a big boost. He was a little worried about it before, and I said the same thing. I thought he looked great. They were great glasses. So Jeff, well done. That's two unsolicited reviews. I hope there'll be some folks in the comments that'll chime in on your amazing glasses.
Yeah, hey, people can say, hey, do you like the glasses? You know, my wife will go, what are you're asking for compliments or what? You know, no, it's not that. But before we jump into the business, I just want to say, you folks can all follow Ryan Moore and All Made on Instagram and all the social media channels, but Ryan is like just a fitness madman, and like I being more Wayne Greenberg, who I had on one of our shows, a Hall of Famer, he goes, I don't like to use the word old, so I'm trying not to use the word old man, you know, or old, but as you know, I looked at your challenge that you're doing. I'm going, no, I can't go there, but I can do what I can do. It's like a gazillion push-ups or whatever. And we were on the road when we were did the ASI show, and I do my plank, and you guys are doing these insane push-ups and everything. But you are a madman. And what was the bit with the ice? You know, you're out in this was not that long ago, a week or so ago, you were in ice out in the, it's like, I don't know.
That was the coldest. I was camping in Bend, Oregon. It was 10 degrees at night. And then it warmed up to a chilly 14 degrees. And I had some tequila the night before. So whenever I drink tequila, one of these days we had to have tacos with Jeff and Jay and tequila.
Yeah, for sure. And it's already happened, but we'll do it again.
Yeah, we had a guest that went tequila.
When we're together.
You always book me in the morning, so it's just I just feel like too much of a, you know, what do they call those people that drink in the morning?
Alcoholics?
Yeah. If I have tequila in the morning and then not productive the rest of the day. So whenever I drink tequila, or like, you know, you have a little bit, not too much fun, but like you're able to go up and go running in the morning. I always like to run. I study Wim Hof, who's a cold enthusiast, kind of like biohacking through cold exposure, taking us into different areas of our bodies that we don't typically put ourselves into in today's climate and 70-degree controlled areas of our life, right? And so I typically run without a shirt on, and when I really want to biohack, and then I get in the ice bath. So, but that was really cool because it was a 14-degree run and people are looking at me like I'm already nuts. And then I get in this ice bath at 14 degrees, which is literally an ice bath. And my neighbor walks out. He's like, what the hell? like
Easy. Yeah, that's what I think every time I see you doing that. I'm like, okay, hey, you go have your biohack. I'm going to have a hot shower, start my day off, and move on. So to each his own. Ryan, that's funny. That's good stuff. Listen, I'm gonna share my screen again, and I want to share this because this is one of the brands that you told me originally when we were preparing that you looked up to, and I specifically asked you why. And the three things, and correct me if I'm wrong, the three things that you had talked about were design, technology, and disruption. So why do you look up to Tesla? Is it for those three things or something more?
Well, you know, originally, like, I remember, and this should definitely not be a show about investing because, yeah, you know, I think we all would have looked back and said, we should have invested in Tesla. I mean, I remember reading a book, and I can't remember what book, on product strategy or go-to-market strategy that Tesla was listed in, that was talking about, you know, coming out with a disruptive product and how something either needs to has to be, how do you disrupt, you know, how do you disrupt a market, you know? And for Tesla, disrupting the automotive market as an electric car, people had tried to do it before. People had done it before, and they did it in a very different way. Instead of coming in at the low end or the mid end, they came in at the very, very high end, and their first car was a couple $100,000, and, you know, it only had 2 seats. And so there's this whole strategy talking about that. But at that time, you know, if you look at the brand, it's they are really driven by those three things. I mean, it's got a clean design, it's got an Apple-esque design. Like, I think typically when people say like, hey, you know, look at a brand, and that it was like Apple forever because they were the disruptor, they were the creator of new markets, and they still are a great brand, but they're not necessarily doing that in these markets these days. But they always started with that like attention to detail in the design.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that's Tesla's strongest suit, but I do think they did it right, you know. And I'll say that, like, having a Tesla and knowing a lot of people that have got them, you can go buy much nicer cars. Like one of my friends who's in this industry, 320 Inc., and they do a lot of promotional products and screen printing and stuff like that. He got one, and he's like, it's not like the same as my Range Rover was, but it's cool. Like it.
Yeah.
I don't need to put gas in it. Like,
right.
It's nice, but it's good enough. But it's aesthetically pleasing. It's clean, always clean lines. It's important. And then the technology in it is just incredible. But really, I think what's most important with brands that I like really look up to is disrupting, you know, new technologies, creating their own power system, creating their own energy platforms. I mean, Tesla's really a technology energy company, not a car company. And so it's pretty cool to see those, those three things intersect into, and if you look at Apple, what they did through, the late 90s to, the end of last decade or the beginning of last decade, they really did the same thing. It was based around really great quality product design. It was based around technology, and it was really based around disrupting or creating. It wasn't disrupting, it was creating a new market. I mean, Tesla
totally new.
They're disrupting the car market, but they're creating a new market of energy. They're creating a new market of travel under the ground and into space. So it's crazy.
It is crazy. I love what you said. Jeff, what are you thinking when you think of Tesla?
Well, I got a chance to drive one time, and it is really amazing how fast they make these electric cars. I drove an S version, and now you got the Mustang Mach-E, and so all the car companies now are coming along, and here in California they are mandating electric cars in 15 years by 2035. Sounds great, except for they shut our power off. And by the way, my power could be shut off at any time. Seriously, they shut off part of it yesterday. Thanksgiving, we had no power. So in a state where you have no power running on electric cars, it's another topic. But what I do, what's that?
You got to get the Tesla roof and the Tesla power walls.
Well, yeah, you got to just play into the whole ecosystem. But what I do
solar, Jeff, go solar.
Yeah. Okay. So what I want to say about Tesla and Musk and SpaceX and I was in awe, and this goes slight off topic because I am ADD, but it is on topic. Okay. In that, if you watch the launch of what SpaceX is doing, working with the government, so instead of the government being this big thing, now you have SpaceX and these astronauts pulling up to the ship in Teslas, and the doors open up, and how refined the look is in the spacecraft. And granted, it's 2020, so the technology is there, but they are accomplishing as a company what some bloated something else couldn't accomplish. And then the fact that they get their people up and back. I was proud truly of the ingenuity and what that's all about. It goes way beyond the car, but it's an extension of the Tesla brand and how they brought it in, and I remember one of the astronauts goes, yeah, I remember we came up to, the shuttle in an Airstream, and of course the Airstream's still cool, but these Teslas that they rolled up to the spaceship, and I mean, it was, wow.
It was a scene. It was awesome. It was great branding, great promotion, great marketing, but more importantly, the three things that Ryan brought up: the design, the technology, and the disruption. So, Brian, I want to challenge you, Ryan, just a little bit here. You weren't prepared for this, but I know you'll crush it because that's just the kind of guy you are. Is to take those three things: design, technology, and disruption, and let's apply it to this logo. How has this logo and this brand helped in design or helped in technology or been disruptive? What can you say about the All Made apparel and the All Made logo specifically? What do you think about that?
Well, so start out with disruption. And I think that was probably the strongest thing with All Made, is because we took two things, an industry that was very commoditized and very driven on price, and tried to make a product that was more expensive and did more, but the way we did it was we did it through launching to very small number of customers. We call them our all-made founders. We had, my goal was to get 12 customers that would really buy into this and help kind of commit to really using this product and promoting this product from the ground up, being those first early customers, first really early people that help launch this, rather than having to do it by yourself. So you're basically creating your own early adopters within the company. And that was, I think, fairly disruptive in business models. I haven't seen that. You had the GoFundMe's and things of that nature, but I think that was a fairly disruptive business model and an extremely unique business model, and definitely the most unique thing about Allmade. I mean, there's other eco-friendly shirts out there, but the most unique thing about Allmade is, and that's expounded way past just the original, 12 people. It's more of a culture, like, the people that have traveled with us or done a trade show with us, gone to Haiti or Honduras or whatever it is. It's really about experiencing that idea of doing something different, and the responsibility of an opportunity to be a part of that, movement, or be a part of that change that you want to see in the world. So
I think that's part of the design. I think you designed that culture. Forget, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but from the outside looking in, Ryan, and having met with you and been up to Washington and, hung out with you, gone to trade shows. And I know most of those original founders because they are visible and they care, but it seemed like you almost designed the culture as part of one of the ingredients. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely. But very fortunately, it didn't necessarily go out to start it that way.
It just worked.
But the people behind it, and that's what opened the door for Sanmar, honestly. The relationship there is, they could go out and they could have created their own eco-friendly brand. They are in other brands,
Sure. Yeah, I'm aware of that.
But they really saw something unique and special in that culture and that movement behind Allmade, and that's what really inspired them to become a part of it.
Well, I knew you were going to crush it with those three, and I wasn't surprised at all. Is there any technology, though, maybe a technology piece that's unique, special, different, rare, something that you'd like to, point of pride about the Allmade experience? Because it's more than just a t-shirt, it's more than just apparel.
Yeah, I think technology is we're not creating like the craziest performance fabrics out there, like that, from the way our technology is constructed. But I do think that one of the cool parts is kind of tying in technology to the sales process, the Allmade Impact Calculator, the ability to go.
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Your customer, the impact, quantify the impact of.
I've got a future slide for you, Ryan, that's going to cover that. So let's, I thought, man, if he doesn't bring this up, I'm gonna, but you nailed it. So well done, my friend. Jeff, besides all of the things that Ryan has just talked about in terms of design, in terms of disruption, in terms of Allmade, I know that Allmade is one of your favorite brands. Am I right, Jeff?
Yes, I've got one. So Ryan and I just talked. My son is working for a coffee roasting company, and I wanted to just bless them, his team, with shirts. And we could have just done t-shirts, but the goal is I don't want to give them t-shirts. I want to give them Allmade t-shirts and let them feel the impact. The hashtag, I believe, is Feel Your Impact. And just I know we have so much we want to cover, but beyond the fact that we see in the Allmade brand what's happening in these countries where it's made, and the positive impact that Allmade is having on the lives of those workers who, in many cases, in traditional sourcing, people are getting abused. They don't have great lives. They're sewing, and so we've seen in the videos that Allmade presents, what's really happening in those factories and the positive impact they're having on lives and families. And yes, it's an awesome fabric, the plastic water bottles that are in it, the tensile modal, all that stuff. But I think that there's just such an amazing story. So when I am able to give Ryan, my son Ryan, and his team at the coffee roasting company, Allmade shirts, rolled, presented right with the story card about how the shirts are made, it's way, way different than just providing a t-shirt with a logo on it. Nothing wrong with t-shirts with logos on it, but that's what we're talking about here when we're talking about epic branding and marketing. How does the world need another t-shirt? Of course not. But this is a brand that Ryan and his team and founders have created that is more, that transcends the t-shirt and the way it feels. I work with Ryan at these trade shows, and everybody loves the product. You put it in their hand, they go, "Oh my, you know this, Jay."
Yep.
So it's special. The product's cool, the brand's cool. People want to identify with it, and the idea that I want my son's coffee roasting people to experience that, and not just a T-shirt. That's speaking to this epic marketing and branding that the Taco Show is all about. Thanks for all you do, Ryan, for making that happen.
Well, let's talk about it, Jeff. You started to bring it up, and Ryan, go ahead and give us a little bit of the breakdown. Why is this an experience? Why is this different? What should we know about the way this shirt is made?
Well, I think it starts out with just the knowledge behind of what goes into the threads of a shirt, and the importance of every t-shirt, the importance of what we do in this industry. I mean, a lot of, I grew up, in a family that did some amazing things in the world. They were missionaries, they were doctors, they saved lives, and I was like, oh, I sell t-shirts, and so, but wow, it's been amazing to see how big the industry is as a whole, and how much of an impact it has positively and or negatively on people's lives and the environment, and how if we just tweak how we do things, how much we can actually change, and how much impact that we can have. So I think it starts with that, like it's a journey, and it's a journey that we were on since All Man a Journey. Many people have come with us. I mean, we've talked about that a lot, Jeff, like what goes, like, I didn't know that, you didn't know that, like what goes into making a shirt and how impactful it is, both either positively or negatively. And so going on that journey, I think, is beginning. And then as you go on that journey, the choice to make and recommend better decisions. And you're always not going to take the best path forward. Sometimes sometimes either you can't afford to do something in a way, or sometimes you're going to go the wrong way. But it's all about trying to make those better decisions. Our first tagline before Feel Your Impact was make it better. When you say like make it perfect, like make it better, let's try to do this better than we've done it before. Let's try to learn as we go. And so, it started out with that. We had a couple of fabrics. At the beginning of All May, we had a cotton that was just a US BCI cotton, a Better Cotton Initiative. We decided to discontinue that in favor of really going after our tri-blend product, which is 50%, organic materials, organic cotton and modal, and then 50% recycled polyester. Which is great because we have a lot of plastic waste, we have a lot of plastic trash to use and to create a market for. But ideally, plastic is not a solution. So our next move is really going much heavier into organic cottons, and then hopefully synthetic replacements for polyester after that. So it's an evolution, and it's awesome to see more people. Our vision was always like, hey, we would just love everyone to do this. Like, we would love using recycled plastic as a norm in the industry versus polyester. No, just let's use recycled polyester, And so seeing more brands do that, seeing more visibility do that. My favorite football player, I'm a Seahawks fan, so my favorite football player, Russell Wilson, and his wife Sierra, the very popular and Grammy award-winning singer, they just started a fashion brand that has the same values and the same beliefs as All Made has, and they're speaking about it openly from a retail end. And so that's awesome to see that coming into the space.
Huge.
Equality, fairness in labor, fairness in treatment of all different classes and races and different areas of the world, and then fairness to the environment.
Well, it seems like you've really brought awareness at every level, Ryan, and so it's such a compliment to you and your team in the strategies behind it. For people who want to learn more about that Allmade story, please go visit allmade.com, right? Ryan, is that the place? Because you can watch
Just
videos, you can
allmade.com.
see.
Simple.
Yeah. So, and then correct me if I'm wrong here, Sanmar is the exclusive wholesale distributor now of Allmade. So for those of us that are in the industry that are looking for wholesale blanks, we would go to Sanmar. Is that right?
Yes. Don't go. Our website's a retail-based website. It's a great selling tool because we have very expensive shirts on there. We do get some people confused that like they just go and buy. I'm like, oh no, you just bought a shirt for way too much money. That's okay. You should buy it wholesale through Sanmar. So yes, wholesale through Sanmar and through those channels. And yeah.
So earlier in the conversation, we talked about this, the feel your impact, see your impact. I took this off your website because I don't know if you want to call it a calculator or an estimator, whatever you refer it to. It's impactful. It's a big deal. And I would challenge everyone who's listening here on Promo Corner with Jeff and Jay Live with our taco show to put down the tacos for just a minute and go check this out, because it really does open up your eyes to the amount of materials that we often don't think about that go into the manufacturing and production and the supply chain of a t-shirt. And I know that was one of your original strategies, was to increase the awareness so people knew how much water was being used, how much CO2 was being used, how much these organic or non-organic products make an impact. And so super cool idea, bro. I don't know if that was all yours or what, but love it. It's a big deal. Tell us more about it.
It actually came from, I mentioned them on this podcast earlier. Drew from 320 Inc. was one of our early adopters and went on our second or third trip to Haiti. He sold a job, an Allmade job, to a very prestigious university in Boston. I won't name them. The Environmental Club. And the Environmental Club got the price quote. They bought the job and they said, oh, actually, we want to use this cheaper shirt, which was another brand that starts with the G.
Golly, I wonder what that brand is.
And so we want to use that shirt. Like, okay. And then I was like, Drew, how do you lose? I mean, this was the early days when like every sale matters. Like, we need those, we need those shirts, And so how do you lose it? It's the Environmental Club. And they're like, he's like, well, how do you show like, well, we should just calculate this out. Like, I've never done the math. Like, what if we just let's calculate this. And I calculated, I can't remember, it was like 30 gallons of oil and, some crazy, a couple thousand gallons of water and I think over 60 pounds of chemicals. I was like, we should just go up to the Environmental Club's door and knock on the door and just throw oil in their face, like, thanks for your t-shirt order, and dump all these plastic bottles they didn't recycle, like on the lawn and all over the football field. And so I did the math and he went back and showed them and they were like, oh my goodness, I had no clue. So we can't do that. We're in the Environmental Club, but they didn't know. So that I gave it to one of our programmers and he's like, well, I could spin that up as an app. And so he did that fairly quickly. So it's definitely evolved since then. I think Sanmar did an extensive life cycle study and we combined a lot of the oil and savings into carbon savings, which is both affecting on crude oil and the environment,
right.
Greenhouse gases and things of that nature. So I think that's a very unique thing that has evolved. And I think the equivalent of 1,000 100 Allmade shirts or 200 Allmade shirts is equivalent of like taking a semi truck off the road for 6,000 miles. Like it's crazy. So you can definitely see the impact and if you go to Allmade and you click on the impact calculator, just type in a couple orders and you'll be astonished by the amount of water saved on an order, the amount of bottles recycled, the amount of, carbon reduced. And then if, you want to quantify that, just type in the amount of carbon reduced and see what that equivalent is. And it's crazy, we're releasing a lot of, that's probably one of the most detrimental things on our environment and why the power is going off, So, it's been a crazy year. 2020 has been not just a pandemic, but the worst hurricane and fire season we've ever seen, So we got to do something about it, and we got to do things smarter. And so I think it's really the only choice. So if we can get more information out there, buy that, and then use that to sell and convert people to making better decisions with the clothing they're purchasing for their businesses or for their employees or for their groups, then it's going to be better for all of us.
Yeah, I think, Jeff, you need to take it personally upon yourself. If you would just sell more all-made t-shirts, that electricity with PG&E or whoever Edison or whoever it is in California these days, I mean, come on, let's get some shirts sold out there, brother. Come on, you Californians.
Exactly. Yeah.
That'll help, right?
We can fix it, or at least be a small part of the solution.
We'll fix it one all-made t-shirt at a time. Well, listen, joking aside, I just think the impact is huge, Ryan. So thank you for sharing that little bit.
Yeah.
And I would encourage people to go, like you said, to your website, because it is impactful. It's an important piece of the puzzle for people to understand, and you have to see it to believe it. You have to see it to understand it, and it creates that awareness. So it's a powerful tool. Listen, a couple more before we turn it back over to Brandon, who's going to give us hopefully some great questions, because I know that folks are watching. We've got quite a few. So if we think about where we were and where we've come, how far, one of the things that you talked to me earlier about, which I just saw on your Instagram feed, was the fact that Ryan Moore rarely rests. Ryan Moore is always in a state of motion, if you don't know Ryan. And you, my friend, are always trying to make a difference for the positive reasons, for good reasons, without the ulterior promotion. That happens, that happens. That's a nice byproduct. But I've seen your commitment on several occasions, and this new project that you're a part of, that you've decided to jump into, is a collaboration, as I picked off the website, from Project Cure, as well as you. And forgive me for not knowing Dom's last name. Is it Rosace? Is that how he says his last name? Oh, yeah. Okay, got it right. Well, and he's the owner of Superior Inc., and he was one of the founders of All Made with you, one of your first, one of the first 10. So you three have come together, and you're trying to make a difference here in Covering Colorado. What is this about?
Well, it came out of the Mass Project. I went to see, I reached out to a nonprofit group that I'm a part of, or a nonprofit sector that I'm a part of, and to see what the need was for PPE, or higher quality reusable PPE in the nonprofit sector. And it got a variety of responses. And this was the biggest response that came in. They requested 20,000 units of just for one location. And so I was like, whoa, that's a lot of So I sent back a bunch of questions about it, and it never heard back. And then finally the CEO responded, it was a month or two later, and they happened to be in Colorado. They're like, yeah, I just wanted to follow up to see if there was an opportunity here. And so I traveled down, one of my very few trips that I took. I think it was my first overnight trip I'd taken during this in 6 months. And so I traveled down to Colorado, connected with the people that I know in Colorado, of course, which was Superior Inc. And I basically went and met with Project Hero, learned more about what they do. And it's an awesome organization. I mean, it's literally, you talk about game-changing and life-saving. So what they're doing in the world is they are collecting medical supplies. Could be reusable gloves, things of that nature. That could be like a hospital bed. That could be a monitoring machine, a chair. I mean, they have everything. 7 warehouses. And the thing is that we are so lucky. I was talking to my kids last night, and I was like, okay, let's go through the 5 times my kid's been in the hospital, and 4 out of the 5 times 100 years ago could have been game-ending events for him. Right. Just 4 little times, And so we're so lucky, but 80% of the world still 100 years ago. They still don't have a hospital. And so they're giving our technology that was used 10 years ago, to places of the world that have zero technology.
Right. And
literally saving hundreds of thousands of lives a year. I mean, going in, the difference between having a baby on the floor in a dirt, hut versus having it in a clean, sterile environment on a bed that can be changed with reusable and sanitary sheets is a life-saving event for the mortality rate of both the mom and the kid. you know?
Right.
And the education of how to do that.
Right.
Like
so Project Cure is like aggregating or finding all of these supplies and then donating it out to these, not just out of the country, but even here, right? Even in the rural.
So COVID's changed that here. That COVID's changed it. Sorry, I went on a tangent, but it's just, I think there's such a cool organization. And COVID's like the need for it here is a lot of rural hospitals are all allocated budget for people and supplies based around their previous year's spend. You know, most hospitals are not private organizations, they're public organizations. And so when you're talking about a hospital that's not equipped for any type of spike, they don't have the budget and resources when 6 people show up with COVID. And so not only that, but then to cover the community around them to keep that prevention area down. So that's why they reached out, and they work with a really cool organization called Angels Flight, who donates their time and flight hours and gas to go give this stuff to rural areas that's harder to get to in Colorado and then other areas of the country. And so we got super fortunate to go down there and learn about that. They happened to be taking a flight the day I was there. Dom and his camera guy got on little airplanes and flew out to rural Colorado.
That was awesome. Yeah, I saw that on Instagram. I was like, he looked a little nervous climbing into that little. Oh
yeah, I was so jealous. I love flying. I love private flying. It's like always, it's my dream someday to have an airplane and have a pilot license. But I was happy for them because neither of them had been on a small plane, and then they just got to meet the people in their own state that were in a completely different situation than them. Just a few
hours out of Denver
through a lot of bumpy roads.
And so they were donating. I saw big bags of all made masks that they were either, I don't know if it was just a pure donation. It was something that you brought, or it was something that Dom printed, or what's the connection there?
But that was just a try, like just to see how they liked them and if they wanted more of them. And so they liked them a lot. And so basically Covering Colorado is a campaign to get Colorado involved in creating its own resources. So somebody in Colorado and or not can go get one of the designs, on the website, covering.health, and help fund the needs for PPE. Our goal is to start with Colorado. We might expand it after that, depending on how long this lasts. Hopefully, maybe not that long, but that Tennessee is another area that they're doing a lot of work in. And so it's more areas of the country that have a lot of rural population that don't have access to, top of the line medical, within an hour's drive.
So Ryan, if somebody in our industry is watching this, they'll be watching today live and they'll be watching again later as they post this recording. If they want to get in touch with you and participate, I saw that you guys have some goals. You're trying to raise some money. You're trying to raise awareness, obviously, always. But how should they get in touch with you if they want to donate or participate?
So if they want to just grab like a really awesome all-made shirt or, all mask, they can go and grab one of the designs on covering.health. And if they want to get involved in a more deep level, either with Project Cure, you go to, projectcure.org or just connect with me. My Instagram's a great way to do it. It's just at Ryan Moore with no E at the end.
MOOR, no E at the end. Well, let's give people a quick view of what some of that awesome merch looks like. Will I have the cool dreads if I participate with this, or is that not going to happen?
Depends on how your hair, what's under that hat.
That's not enough. Yeah.
I'm getting one of those shirts.
So, and then we have a really cool design coming out today. Today is a Colorado Gives Day, which is kind of like the local day of giving for that area for Colorado. So we have another cool design coming out today as well. So
cool.
It's got the Sea of Colorado, kind of the sea of the flag with all the different cities inside of that.
Very cool. Look forward to seeing that. And
printed with water-based inks and on great quality, sustainable, very soft feel your impact products.
Outstanding. Well, this has been a fun run for us. Jeff, you usually like to wrap it up and try to help us bring some, how do we apply all of these lessons, the things we've learned. Oh, hold on. What's Jeff doing over there? I better share my screen. Jeff, what have you, look at that.
I've got my tacos all mask.
He may be quarantined in his own office, but he's got a
Can
little
you
tacos mask.
taco through that? That's the question.
Oh, no, that's the problem. I've got to pull it down. But here's the thing I love about the all mask, in addition to the fact it's really comfortable, and I actually wear it on a bike ride because in our past, there's a lot of people, some people wear masks on our running paths, but I can keep it up and I can drop it down like that. So when I'm out riding, I'm just boom, boom. Oh, people come by, I see they have a mask, so it's of concern to them. I just go like that. It's easy.
Yeah.
So, and they're great. Okay, but tacos up. You can't eat a taco through a mask, but I'd be remiss if I did.
You cannot.
I'm gonna eat a burrito. Does that count?
It's the cousin of the
Anything
taco.
goes. Anything goes here on this show.
It's like the cousin of the taco. It's a tortilla. It's wrapped. It's not folded, but we've seen worse, right, Jeff? We've seen worse.
Oh yeah. No, I won't even. Yeah, I mean, creativity with this is all good.
Well, and speaking of creativity, so normally I'm out and I go and make my own tacos right here in the end because I do work from home. But I am going to start a fun little thing, and I think I'm going to bring in a little prop. So when we do tacos up, we're going to have a little taco piñata every Tacos Live. And the piñata is going to be full with tequila, hot sauces. Who knows what it's going to be filled with? So that's another thing people can pay attention for is what's in the piñata today.
The piñata taco. Brandon, you are creative. That is fantastic.
Brandon, what's going to happen with whatever's in the piñata? Are you going to just eat the hot sauce, or you say the flavor, or take a shot of the tequila?
I didn't think that far, but since you got me live, man, yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll just drink the hot sauce. Why not? Yeah.
He'll take the packet and do it like a shot and then hit it with the tequila and whoo.
We'll send you, Brandon, some taco spices from our friends at La Torta Spice. Got taco spices.
That's awesome.
And I've got a few extra tacos with Jay and Jeff, all made masks, which are the most comfortable mask, by the way. And I'm not just saying that because Ryan donated them to my cause, but because they really are. Even my kids are wearing them now, and so I know that that's always the test. Because at first they were like, "Dad, I don't," and then I was like, "Just try it." And then by the end of the day, they're like, "Oh, this was way more comfortable." So.
That is awesome. Well, we've got a couple more things to do. Let's get a nice little tacos up from all four of us, and for everybody out there watching. If you have never seen Tacos or Tacos Live, you need to make sure, check it out. We got the tacos up. Everybody's got a taco. We want you to have a taco as well. We hope you had a fantastic time with all the stuff that we fill up your taco with live.
Or burrito.
Yeah, or burrito.
Tacos up. Ryan, it was such a blast to have you on. Before we go, is there anything else we need to hear from either Brian or Brandon?
Well, I just want to thank you both very much. Keep up the good work. Keep this momentum going with Tacos with Jay and Jeff. It's fun. It's unique. It's different. It's disruptive in the industry. So good job with that. Thank you for having me on and talking about the All Made story.
Fabulous. You're welcome.
And
thank you.
Ryan, from me and Promo Corner, thank you so much for everything that you do as well. I mean, your hand is just in about everything that is good. Right. And that is something that is hard to come by, especially in a very competitive industry. And you have found a way to take that competitive streak, but make it good for everybody else. So I applaud you for everything that you're doing, man. Thank you.
Woo.
Oh, thank you.
Ryan.
Appreciate all you guys'
Ryan.
support too.
Well,
right now
that
it's
is
a good taco or burrito, I guess.
Dive in, brother.
do it. Get on.
Get on that.
Yeah, I'm going to figure out a way to actually bite this for the next time we go live next Tuesdays away. So.
Yeah, it might taste a little papery. Might be a
I
little
don't
dry.
think you're going to enjoy what happens after you bite it, but that's up to you, man.
We'll figure it out. It's live. We'll do it live. As Bill O'Reilly would say, we'll just do it live. All right. So speaking of that, let's go ahead and wrap this Tacos Live up. You guys, thank you so much. Again, this does get edited and posted at Promo Journal on promocorner.com on Thursday afternoons. We do rebroadcast this. So if you missed it live today, that's where you can check us out. It also lives all the time on Promo Corner's Facebook page. And the boys actually do a show when they're not live over it, and you can check all of those episodes out at freepromotips.com as well. So there's a ton of places you can check this out. So we'll see you next time for Tacos Live.